Hey, it's me, Lucy again, and today I'm going to show you another house from my Alpine Village workshop. And it's actually one of my favorites. I don't know if you could tell which one we're going to do, but it's one of my favorites. Bonk, bonk. It's this one. Let me move the others out of the way. I love this one too. And I call this the Alpine Chalet because it's much more chalet style than some of my other houses. And we're going to construct it. But first, I'm going to show you how to set up the file within Cricut Design Space. Okay, we are on the home screen in Cricut Design Space. I'm on my laptop, so it may look different than if you work off a tablet or your phone. But now we're going to go to the canvas by either clicking here or here. It doesn't matter which one. Canvas. I'm going to upload, and this is my Alpine wreath workshop. These are all the files within it, and I'll have a separate file for you. So I'm going to click on Alpine Chalet SVG, and this is what the file looks like. I'm going to click Continue in the lower right-hand corner. That's your right hand. Image details if you want to add it to a collection of little houses or however you want to organize your files. Now I'm going to upload, and I like to see my files within Cricut Design Space a little more clearly, so I generally reduce as the first thing I do. And now we ungroup. My 1-inch square says that it's 1 by 1, so I know that that is the size I want. So I'm going to delete that now. I don't need my scale square. And I do need to change score lines for a number of pieces. So I'm going to move the pieces that don't need score lines to the side. So we need a chimney. My chimney has score lines. My roof has score lines, and the main body of the house has score lines. And one thing you can do if you like in this step, just to make it easier to identify score lines, is you can select all the non-score line pieces, group them, hide them, and now let's get the score lines. For the roof, I click on this. You can select the piece either here, or you can select it by clicking on it here, and you see this section here, this one line, and that is your score line. So let's just click on that one line, and now we have to go over to the operations menu to change it. But if you've ever made any of my projects, you know I draw my score lines in red, so the color box turns red. Score. Now we go back, we have to select the whole piece so our Cricut understands that this score line belongs to that piece, and we use the attach button at the lower right-hand corner so we can make sure the two are kind of permanently together, a score line and the cut line. All right, the other one is the chimney. It also has a series of lines, so select those lines. We're under the Layers panel. Select those lines. Go back over. Just kind of check to make sure the color box says red. Scroll down to Score. Back over to the Layers panel to select the whole thing. And then down to the little Attach button at the bottom. And let's do the same thing for the main section of the house. These kind of wiggly lines are the score lines. So I'm just going to select those by clicking on them. Go back over to the operations menu. We see our color box is red. Score. Select the entire piece, attach. Now, all of our scored pieces are done. Let's ungroup. So all these other pieces, let me explain. This is a door. I'm going to ungroup it. This is a door, and if you want a door frame, you can cut this out. I added a couple extra windows just because they're tiny pieces and sometimes they don't cut out perfectly. This bit of trim goes to the front. Wait, let me arrange, bring to the front just so you can see it fits over these little windows. This one goes to decorate the back. And then these are the side trim pieces. So those are the main pieces of trim for the Alpine Chalet, today's project. Now, the only other thing I wanted to tell you is I show you at the end of the video, the construction video, how to use corrugated cardboard so you can make it look like a log cabin. If you do that, instead of letting these lines be score lines, so I'm going to detach it just so you can see. Select the score lines, go back and make them basic cut. And now, if you need a template to use with the corrugated cardboard, all you have to do is let it cut these pieces out, and this will be your template so you can cut out your corrugated cardboard. The Cricut won't cut corrugated cardboard, what I call single-face corrugated cardboard. So I just wanted to tell you that little hint, that if you want a template for something, like say you were going to cover it with the scrapbook paper, or you had a really cool paper you wanted to kind of applique on front, you want to apply and glue to the front, then just let it cut it out instead of score lines, and you can use these pieces to cover the front of your house. All right. That is the main thing I wanted to show you. You can make this house out of cardboard or cardstock, and I think it's a really cute house. So let's go to construction. When I was reading about chalets, what makes a house a chalet, I read that it is wider than it is tall. And even though I tried to design this house wider than tall, I actually didn't do it. It's 2.5 inches wide and 3 inches tall. So it's not exactly, chalet, but it's close enough, and it's a really cute house. And I've got a log cabin variation that I think you will really like. So these are the main pieces. These are the decorative pieces for the front, a side chimney, and a roof that allows the side chimney to fit. And that's the first one we're going to make. Let me move this to the side. Then I have this log cabin variation. So rather than, have to glue on individual logs, I did cutouts, and you just glue this piece to the surface. And I think it actually makes a very cute little house. So that one is the one where I'm going to show you how to do the roof. And it has another one of the variations. You can choose either roof, but this roof goes on top and the chimney goes on the side. So that is another one of your variations. And then this is my real favorite. This one, I use what's called single face corrugated cardboard for the logs, and it really looks good. The only thing about it is you cannot cut single face corrugated cardboard on a Cricut. It's hard to cut corrugated cardboard on a Cricut. I think you need a knife blade, and I don't have it. So I included these templates so you can cut out a piece that's the same size and just glue it on top, making it similar to this one, but just a little more involved with some hand cutting. This is my single face corrugated cardboard, and it actually, I get it about once a month when I order cat food from Chewy. So they always send me some. I'm like, oh, nice. You can buy it at office supply stores. So that's got templates, and then you make it just like the others once you've cut out your pieces. And I've got a sample piece that we will cut out together. We're going to glue the decorations on this Alpine Chalet, and then do the main assembly, and then the roof and chimney. For always, the first thing you do is score, and I always score before I paint. If you're using cardstock, obviously you don't have to paint, but do score before you start gluing things on. It's much easier to see the lines and then kind of center things when you've already got your score lines folded. So let's do these decorative pieces at the top, and any kind of glue. I'm using Barely Art, and sometimes for the stronger glue, my quick dry tacky glue. I'm just going to apply it to the back of the decorative piece, trying to do little thin pieces, but always getting it in the corner and the peak. That's really where you want it anchored. I'm going to sit it down for just a second because it always sticks better if you let it dry just a bit. Okay, a little extra at the peak and on the sides, and then along the edges. Set it down. Let's do the same thing for the side trim. Set it down, side trim, second piece. I was trying to see which was the good painted side. Actually, painted both sides. I know most people make them out of cardstock, but I do hope you'll try one or two in cardboard. A little bit to the back of the window, these little green windows. And if you ever have any problems cutting out windows, go ahead and do them in cardstock or a, kind of a really thin cardboard. Lately I've been using the flat cardboard setting, and it seems to work better for things with little tiny details. While we're here, let's just glue the chimney together. And I'm going to use binder clips, these two little binder clips, to help hold it. Remember, the only downside of binder clips is they do leave a little indentation on your cardboard. And so I try to put that side to the back of my house. I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. Now let's see if my glue got tacky and I can stick it down easy. So I'm just fitting it up on this peak, trying to keep it below the fold line. I think that worked. Okay, let's get our second decorative peak, decorative chalet. Yes, that adhered well. Let's try side trim. You see how much easier they stick down if you give it just a minute? Really, it's kind of surprising. Yeah, that's sticking good. Okay, now let's try windows. Let's do the door first. I have a little door frame that you can glue on if you like, if you want to add just a little contrast to your door. Contrast and dimension. This is the upper level window. Green windows. Two green windows. There, that looks good. All right, now we get to glue the house together. And for this, I'm going to use the slightly stronger glue, the quick dry tacky glue. So this is a side glue tab. I'm going to tear off a piece of painter's tape to help hold when I'm ready for it. And another thing, you know by now that I always over glue. So if you smear it flat, it gets to that tacky stage faster. All right, now let's glue our little house together. Side glue tab to the opposite side of the house. And a little piece of painter's tape. And I actually apply it pretty lightly because I don't want it to pull up my my paint. And always make sure the bottom lines up straight. And then check to make sure that your angles of your house are all 90, and they are. Now, roof tabs to roof flaps. Remember, the roof flaps are what I call structure. They maintain the structure and add more gluing surface for when you add the roof. Just smear it a little bit. Okay, the nice thing is that I can hold these down with these binder clips. So I'm kind of pushing the two sides together, and then the roof tabs down to the roof flap, and I'm going to try to catch them all with my binder. There. So that'll hold it. And even if the binder makes a little indentation on the cardboard, it's not in a place that's going to show. Let's do the same thing on this side. Look to make sure. See, I skewed this house a little bit. I have to turn it so that it's a rectangle. Make sure no glue drips down. And this house is almost done. So I'm going to let that dry. And while that is drying, I'm going to use this version and glue on the roof that doesn't have a cutout. This one has a little cutout for the side chimney. I'm going to use a green roof for this house. Okay, now let's add glue to the roof tabs to hold down the roof. Smear it again. And while I'm letting that glue get just a little tacky, I'm going to do the same thing with the chimney. Remember, to adhere the chimney, we apply glue all along this edge. So I'm going to let some start to get a little tacky. So I'm just going to kind of set it aside, standing up, and make sure your roof folds. Put it on the top, and then try to arrange it so you've got an equal overhang in the front and back, or if you want more overhang in the front, do that. Kind of hold it. And if you want, we can use painter's tape to help hold. So it's actually holding pretty well. So I apply a little bit on one side and just kind of pull across and tape to the other. And I mostly make it adhere right at the edge. And if I pull the paint up a little bit, then I just repaint it. If you're using cardstock, usually it sticks so well you don't have to do things like this. All right, let that dry. Actually, and another thing is you can kind of push from the inside. Let's do our chimney. Here's our chimney. I'm going to add just a teeny bit more glue and just stick it on. It's probably best if you wait till it's dry because you have a firm surface to adhere to. I'm going to try to turn this over and show you without tipping it. Isn't it a cute little house? Okay, I'm going to set this one aside. And now I'm going to show you how to cut the corrugated cardboard. All right, if you just try to cut corrugated cardboard like this, and you put down your ruler and your craft knife, you end up smushing these corrugations, so they get all flattened at a big crease and stuff. So there's a trick to it. You tape two pieces together, line them up so that they hold each other, and they'll hold each other up. See, the two little sandwiches kind of fit together. So let me find my template. I haven't cut out the back piece. This is my template. Here's a Sharpie. So I'm going to go around it. Okay. I do have circles in the back for light, but also to have to use wire to anchor the house to the wreath easily. So that's what these holes are for. So let's just cut it. I put in a new blade. Whenever you cut something by hand, cut the small pieces out first before you cut the large pieces, because then it kind of holds it in place. And I'm going to hold it up because this isn't really a cutting mat. So I'm just going to kind of hold it up, just kind of sawing through. You know, it's a log cabin. I'm not doing precision cutting. Although that actually looks pretty good. Okay, for these, yeah, they probably won't look great. I try to remember to cut away from myself because I'm so clumsy. All right, now that we've got the center pieces cut, we can cut the outside pieces. I'm going to use a ruler for that. And remember, when we trace around it, we actually make it slightly bigger. So I'm going to cut just inside these lines. Okay, let's see if it worked, if I cut all the way through. I taped them together just so they wouldn't slide during the cutting process. And this is the back side. If you want to practice cutting, practice with the back and the sides first before you do the front one. And see, we didn't squish the corrugations and it looks good. Let's see how it fits on my piece. So I will paint it this same color brown, and it fits pretty well. It's not exactly matching up to the circle, but it's close enough. I can actually enlarge it, and I can use, I thought I had my little scissors over here. I don't, well, I'm not going to use these scissors, but you can trim it a little more. But that's why I painted the background brown, so that anything that would show through, you know, doesn't matter much. So I will do this one just like I did the other one. I'll glue these on top. And I painted them a little bit. I don't know if you can see. I added just a little bit of lighter brown, a little bit of white highlights, just to make them look like an old log cabin. The template is just slightly smaller. Oh, and when you cut out this window, you don't need the little divider in the middle because you just glue the window over it, and that forms the divider. So you just need a little bit of a square. And you can trim these with small scissors afterwards if you find out you didn't cut out enough. So I will finish that, and then I will show you how it looks, and it's going to be so cute. So that's how you make the little Alpine Chalet. And if you ever have any questions, you can always contact me. You can put a comment and ask a question. I'm pretty good about answering them. You can go to my website and comment on the written tutorial for the Alpine Chalet. And so I hope you have fun making it. I hope you will make it and enjoy making it. All right. That's it for today. Bye.